If you ask me what would be the ultimate one lens, one full frame lens that doesn't break the bank for overhead shots, for talking heads, for beauty shots, for travel and vlogging, I can easily tell you that as of right now, it is Sony's brand new 20-70 f4G lens. I love this thing. Let's talk about it. By the way, this is handheld. What you're seeing is handheld. In active mode, this lens works great with the active mode. So if you're walking around filming like this, which is something I really enjoy doing, you probably don't need stabilization during post. So even with the crop that active mode applies on top of this lens, 20mm is really wide and nice for vlogging, especially when it's handheld like this. Okay, this is active mode on, and this is the standard mode. Let's switch back. This is standard mode. This is active mode. Pretty useful. And if you want to zoom in, you can zoom in like this. And the thing is, when you're zooming in and out, this lens doesn't roll, which is great because I love doing handheld zoom shots. And if you have an A7 IV like this one, you can switch to APS-C mode. And with the crop, you can zoom in even more. Let me show you. This is the widest I can get with this lens. This is 70mm. Now I'm gonna switch to APS-C. And this is APS-C. And this is handheld, by the way. This thing has the 2X XT extreme dynamic linear motors that gives this lens really fast focusing capabilities. Also, the focus breathing on this lens is minimum. It's really good. So when you're moving towards or away from the lens, the composition is not going to expand or shrink. Which means you don't need to use focus breathing compensation feature on your camera, which also means you're not losing the field of view your lens has. But one thing that really blew my mind and sealed the deal for me is the minimum focus distance of this lens. It is really good, especially with A7 IV. When you switch to APS-C mode, I was able to capture this. Look at that, look how close we are. Look at the footage. We shall record this. How are you feeling?
I'm good.
Once again, we're gonna pay you
$350?
$350.
$350.
Yeah.
That's my going right there.
So I see what's in focus. As you can see, it's her lower eyelid, if that's the thing. So come a little further, a little back, a little further, a little further. I mean, what am I saying? A little
I don't
closer.
know.
I'm so
Okay.
sorry. It's my English. Go back a little bit. That's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Also, this has the new focusing system, which means when you're zooming in and out, the focus stays more or less the same. It's not perfect, but it is really close. As you can see here, I'm set to manual focus. And if I zoom out without changing the distance, the focus should stay on her. So we are testing that here right now. Yeah, not bad. When you're doing dolly zoom and stuff like that, that helps a lot for the lens to be able to keep up with the shot. And every single time, the dolly zoom was perfect in my tests. This is Sony's 71st E-mount lens, and it's 48 full frame lens. And of course, because it's a G lens, the design and the look of this lens is pretty good. This thing is 488 grams, which is pretty light. And when it comes to size, it's slightly bigger than the 16-35 power zoom lens. This lens has the focus hold button, two of them actually, which you can program. I usually program it to variable shutter because that light always flickers. And that light is going away. I made up my mind. I'm done with that light. We also have an autofocus manual focus switch. We have the iris ring. So we have the iris lock, so it locks it in. You cannot turn it by accident. And if you wanna get rid of the clicking, we have a switch for that as well. This is our focus and this is our zoom. One thing I wish this lens had was, of course, the power zoom. That would have been amazing. And if it was possible to have this in internal zoom, just like our 16-35mm lens, because then I think it would have been the perfect combination with a 7.4 20-70G lens and RS3 Mini, DJI's brand new gimbal that is super small and super light, so its capabilities are very limited, so you have to be careful while you're using this gimbal. So of course, if you balance it with this kind of setup where you're at the 70mm, when you go down to 20mm, it's gonna fall back. So what I do is I balance it somewhere in the middle like that. But then of course, every time you zoom out or zoom fully in, you're putting more work to the motors, which is something I do not like to do. The thing I like about this lens, it has linear focus. What that means is when you set your focus somewhere and you rotate your focus ring, no matter how fast or slow you're rotating, when you come back to the same spot, the focus is going to be where it's initially set to. To me, this feature is very important while I'm doing beauty shots, especially with shallow depth of field. I adjust my focus for every angle I'm shooting. In the end, this is a very capable, very good lens, and it seems like they listened to all of us and brought us a lens that can do more than just one thing. And I think that's what matters, especially when you're beginning. This is gonna come in really handy because with 16-35, if you get this, it's a fantastic lens. But then if you want to zoom in a little bit, this is not going to be enough. But with this, you can vlog and you can zoom in and zoom out, especially combined with a 7.4. I keep saying this, but I feel like together they are fantastic. I need to return this. I actually was supposed to return this yesterday. I need to return this right now after I stop recording this, but I think I'm buying one. I think this video ended up me convincing myself about this lens. Well, thank you very much for watching this episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. As usually, what matters is what you think. What did you think about this lens? Is this something you're interested in? What do you think about it being f4? What did you think about the focus breathing composition? Is that something you care about? What did you think about the active stabilization? And what did you think about its capabilities and minimum focus distance? I think that's the thing that sealed it for me. I really love my 24-70 Mark II G Master lens because how much I can get close to it while I'm doing the overhead. That is so much better. I used to use 24-105 up there, but the minimum focus distance of that lens was not that good. So I had to watch out how much I can bring it close to the lens. With this, I don't need to care, but that lens costs something else. This costs something else. So, you know, it's good. It's good. All right. Until I see you the next time, take really good care of yourselves and hoşça kalın. Okay, I guess I'm taking you back. What's that? You don't want to go? What's that? You want to stay? You love me? You don't want to go back? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because I love you too. Okay. Shall we, escape together? Okay, come here. They can't take you from me. They cannot take you from me. They're looking. They're coming. They're coming.